Werewolf here. The Borat films are blatantly racist by the standards established by our media entities of today. They're racist against the people of the nation of Kazakhstan. And yet Cohen not only gets a free pass from the media in Hollywood, but they love him for it, and they help promote his movie. But then again, because big media companies own other big media companies, promoting the movie is also in their best financial interest. You know, Kazakhstan is an easy target for a bully like Cohen to pick on because most Americans know so little about it, most of them don't even know that it exists. It also includes the use of blackface, something that we're told by modern standards is absolutely wrong with no exceptions for satire, except when it's okay when one of them does it. Amazon Studios that produced this spent most of this year showing off how woke they supposedly are, reminding us of things like Juneteenth Day, as if anyone actually knew what that was all about. And of course, Amazon has exponentially increased their involvement in censoring and banning books from their site. You know, the film goes after conservative targets, which are easy targets, and yet you get these mainstream normies laughing at these setups as if they've never seen them before. You know, another thing that's not to be believed is that any of this film was actually spontaneous. You can tell just looking at the camera angles that were used, and if you know the basics of media and contract law, you know, Giuliani knew that he was a part of this. For what reason he decided to participate, I know not, but I did notice the timing was very obvious, right before the election, and right before he'd be called on for the lawsuits with the voter fraud in various states. Not too long ago, Cohen gave his speech for the Anti-Defamation League, in which he called for more censorship, specifically in regards to hate speech on social media, and yet his film is predicated entirely on hate speech for the sake of humor. And yet, he gets a free pass by Hollywood and the media, because he's their boy. Sounds like celebrity privilege to me. Also, isn't it a little too late for a sequel to a film from 2007? You know, I saw the first film when it came out, and I felt like most of the jokes are familiar to me. Like, I felt like I'd seen them before, and that they were predictable. But a lot of people found them funny, and whatever. Humor is subjective, and you like what you like. You know, and the normie-driven media praises Cohen's work like he has some sort of unique anthropological insight, like this is some sort of expose that breaks new ground. Meanwhile, there are much better filmmakers that get ignored that actually dive into these topics. Start with the films of Jim Jarmusch, if you're not familiar. You know, but Cohen doesn't raise any real questions that forces us to look at ourselves or confront our culture in a meaningful way that would lead to any sort of profound change. No, none whatsoever. You know, what these films really are is mainstream derivative content made for normies so they can feel like they're participating in something edgy and controversial, even though all of the jokes have been attested and approved by a big studio. You know, really my own concern isn't the film, it's all these mainstream voices that are inconsistent in their self-righteousness. You know, if you're against any kind of speech that's offensive, then be against all speech that's offensive. If you're for free speech, then be for all free speech, even if you get called an extremist, because it's convenient for someone else at that moment, politically. Well, until next time, life, liberty, and